Hello, this is Heart Rhythm TV, and I'm Jodie Hurwitz, President-elect of Heart Rhythm Society. This is another session of Advocacy in Action. Today we have Dr. Dan Morin, who is at Oxnard Clinic. He's Director of Cardiovascular Research and Professor of Medicine and Cardiology. Welcome. It's my understanding that as part of the Health Policy Committee and Regulatory Affairs Committee, last year, because of the impressive ablation cuts that were ongoing, your committee sent out a survey, and that this survey and an editorial has been accepted at Heart Rhythm. And we're wondering if you can give us some information about this today.
Certainly. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jodie. It's a real pleasure to be here with you today to talk about our work. Impressive is one way to describe these cuts. I can think of a few other words like unprecedented and absolutely horrible, maybe another one. We were concerned as a member of the Heart Rhythm Society Health Policy Committee. I and the other members were concerned about these draconian cuts that you've heard about from previous episodes of Heart Rhythm TV and from what you've read. And so to those ends, we wanted to find out if our members were feeling already any downstream cuts or downstream effects of these cuts, and also if they expected other changes to happen down the line. Now, keep in mind that this survey was performed during the months of March and April and May, and ended right around the time of the Heart Rhythm Society scientific sessions. This was before, of course, the second round of proposed cuts, which have come out most recently in July or August. So we sent out via email and Twitter and via postering at the scientific sessions meeting a survey that all of the respondents responded on the digital platform. Some of the highlights were pretty eye-opening. We received 516 responses, and of those, 87% of those respondents replied that they got at least some amount of their reimbursement from RVUs. And fully 44% of them received more than 80% of their reimbursement from RVUs. So this is not a small amount of money to a small amount of people. This is a large amount of money that is very likely, I think, to have large impact on the practices of a lot of our members and affiliate physicians and other clinicians. There were also expected staffing changes. A minority, but a large minority of respondents said that they were likely to have to reduce the number of nurses and techs that they had in the lab, or to reduce the number of advanced practice providers that they had. And of course, that has a large impact upon practice as well. We were concerned mostly about equally about the downstream effects of these cuts on the workforce of electrophysiology in the United States. In particular, we were concerned about the effects on teaching of fellows and other trainees who are coming up and who are the future of electrophysiology in our country. We found on our survey that 79% of our respondents responded that they had that they performed at least some amount of teaching of fellows or trainees or their lab staff, and about 57% of those said that these cuts are going to have such an effect that they are going to have to reduce the amount of teaching that they perform. And of course, if you reduce the amount of teaching, you reduce the quality of teaching, no doubt. And down the line, that is certainly going to have an effect on the electrophysiology workforce of tomorrow. Finally, another amazing outcome of our survey, or surprising or concerning outcome of our survey, was that fully 54% of our respondents said that as a result of these cuts, they are actually considering changing careers or retiring early. So you're talking about cuts that may have an effect, that definitely will have an effect on today's practices, but also on tomorrow's workforce, because the quality of education of fellows may well decrease. And also, we're talking about early retirement or leaving of our profession of people who are very well trained and experienced today.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. That's a large number of people who responded, and a little bit frightening in terms of the numbers. I understand that you also had a Viewpoint article in association with this. I'm sure that given the amount of time you've had to look over this data, you would really have some cogent comments about all of this.
Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah, so after we submitted those results as a research letter to the Heart Rhythm Journal, and Dr. Chen accepted it, he recognized that we on purpose kept it somewhat researchy, somewhat dry, and didn't have very much editorialism in there very much. But I think he was interested in hearing our viewpoint, so to speak, about what the effects of these cuts may be down the line. And we also wanted to educate our readers of the Heart Rhythm Journal and our membership, because that's one of the things that our membership is always asking for, is for Heart Rhythm to provide more education. So Dr. Chen asked us to write a Viewpoint article, which has been also accepted and will appear together with the research letter. It describes a lot of the RVU and RUC process that was described to us earlier by Chris Liu, who is another member of the Health Policy Committee from last year, and who's first author of the Viewpoint article, with all the other members of the committee coming in there as well. I talked about the history of the RVUs and the RVU cuts that wound up happening and why that happened, because it's important for us to understand how it happened and why it happened in order for us to be able to fight against it.
That's great. Well, we look forward to reading this and hearing more from you. And I appreciate your being here with us today. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Jodie. Keep up the fight.
Thank you very much. And we look forward to enjoying another Advocacy in Action coming up.